I woke up very unhappy, very scared, just very scary, scared, really scared. Was I really scared? Yes. I had like weird feelings in the pit of my stomach before it even started. I'm scared.
Please. What's up, Screamers? The bad boys of horror are back, and it's a very special, very spooky, maybe even very sexy Friday the 13th episode.
Happy 13th to all those that celebrate.
Happy Friday.
Also the 27th ever episode of 2 Minute and a Baby.
Happy 27th episode to all those that celebrate.
And if you take 13 times 2 plus 1, that's 27.
Damn.
That's math.
That's math. And this is a horror movie review show where three best friends discuss a new horror movie each episode. If you hadn't guessed it already, we will be covering today 1980s slasher, Friday the 13th, directed by Sean
S. Cunningham.
S. Cunningham.
S is for slasher.
Sean Slasher Cunningham. I'm your host, Will Dubs, and as usual, I'm joined to my right by musician and fellow horror historian Brendan Fletcher, and to my left by comedian and titular baby Abby Krinsky-Rogoff. Let's slash right through the bullshit and kick things off, dude.
Kick it. Brendan, hit that theme song, please.
2 men and a baby, oh yeah. 2 men and a motherfucking baby.
Let's just dive right into that schedule of scares, our itinerary scary, if you may. Does anybody want to discuss their viewing experience of Friday the 13th ahead of this Friday the 13th?
We watched it not together, asynchronistically, and I missed you guys a lot. I was really scared. I put it off to the last minute, and I was like, if I watch this alone, I'm going to fucking have a panic attack, and I convinced Simone to watch it with me, thank God, because I was so scared.
I was just smirking because I was thinking, listening to the Shining episode back, how like just Brendan saying incongruous. It's such a good word, but you were like, damn, I killed it with that word, and then you said it like 2 more times.
Call out.
It was an incongruous viewing experience.
Yeah. Well, you said something else. You said
Asynchronistic. But I started off on real hot. I was like, oh, that's a good word, and I couldn't remember how that word ends. So.
I was just saying it's sort of a synonym of us not being together, which we are right now.
My viewing experience was me in my bed, per usual, and I watched it. I paused it a lot. We'll get into that.
What really insightful information.
I paused the movie a lot. I didn't
You
watch
have the option to not share.
Most people, when they go to theaters, they don't have the option to pause. Right?
Most people, I'd say all people that go to theaters
yeah,
don't
right.
have the option
Shit.
to pause.
But what I'm saying is, when you're at home, do you just pop a movie on?
No, get to it. You know what? There's no reason to bury the lead here. Why are you pausing it?
Pause movies.
I try not to, but I do when I need to pee or make popcorn or touch my cat.
I'll be completely honest. Didn't like this movie.
Oh.
Right? And it was hard to get through.
You paused it to like recharge.
I just was like, I was watching the other things. I was YouTube. I was like
crazy.
I couldn't. It was just a struggle.
You're watching Friday the 13th 2, 3 on a different screen.
It might have been like I wasn't really in the mood to watch a horror movie or a movie at all, but this movie particularly was just like it was brutal to get.
All right.
through. Yeah, not in a good way.
I am a little grumpy today, which means I am actually not looking forward to arguing. So I'm thrilled to hear you say that because I agree, and I barely fucking watched this movie too. Like I was. Granted,
you shouldn't necessarily admit this to our audience.
No. But I've seen it before. I know what happens in the movie.
Yeah.
I finished it in the shower I took getting ready to come here this evening.
We do sound like we're just all depressed.
Now, if you guys could all give us an hour and a half of your undivided attention, that'd be awesome.
Don't fast forward, but I'm going to admit to the fact that literally if I knew a scene was going to be just no dialogue, I was hitting the plus 10-second thing.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I haven't seen this movie in like 15 years, so I actually forgot a lot about the movie.
Still didn't.
I was excited when I started it, but within like the first 10 minutes of the movie, we'll get into it. But
well, no, let's get into it for a second.
Yeah,
I thought I started it thinking, "Holy shit, what are we doing? This is so bad." But I realized, to be fair, like the first, minus the first kill, the first like actual scene with acting, was a really bad actor and actress, but the actor we never saw again, and the actress got killed quickly. And then all of a sudden, I thought our main characters were fine. Actually, compared to
my
I
problems
didn't mind
with
the
this movie are not the acting. This was that era of formulaic 80s camp.
Well, it wasn't the era of formula. It started the
it
formula.
created the formula. It might have not been the movie that created it, but it was part of the formation of the formula. That's why I felt formulaic,
created
which
the
I
formula.
respect the movie for doing that, but
Right,
it's just
didn't make it
hard
fun
to
to
hold
watch.
up in 2026.
Well, what's the formula? Because famously, it's a ripoff of Halloween, but Halloween is what I thought was the more important, much better. We haven't done that movie on here, but I have seen Halloween. Halloween is so good. That felt like the important catalyst. That's like the Black Sabbath, the like, we're going to take the old and add new and just make an art piece. I would say Halloween led to it, but didn't create it because it was still a full-on movie. This felt like less of a movie and more of just a slasher.
It is weird because even if it created it, it does feel like it's following it. You know what I mean?
It's just a formula and not much more. My biggest thing is like, this movie's very on the nose, good and bad. Let's get into the synopses.
Yeah, so we all go around and we give a synopsis of the film in one sentence and one sentence only before reading the official one as contrast. We got basically a professional here on the squad.
Yeah, I'll go first. All right, here we go. A vengeful entity birthed by the morbid past of a sleepaway camp seeks to settle the score with a group of unsuspecting camp counselors.
Wait, I'm confused.
Entity.
Yeah, what is entity about her?
Let's not spoil. I guess we can spoil a movie that's 46
it's
years old.
Well,
Well, you asked the question, I'm going to answer it. The entity, it's not as clear cut as just her, but I was also
You know the
alluding to
future.
like the supernatural future of the franchise, and also she seems like she almost has a psychokinetic connection with her son.
Right. And she has like pure delusional psychosis, whatever, until
so it's more than just a story of like of a
Receiving.
mother
Yeah,
rotting vengeance
revenge.
for me. But
and there's also they do kind of allude to the fact that it's like a cursed place
Exactly,
almost
yeah.
by
Right.
its history.
Right,
and
right.
That.
It's true.
If we are spoiling, I will say that I remembered it ending differently, which was the last jump scare, which is my favorite part of the whole movie. I thought it ended right there. And you're like, oh, they're setting up the
Right.
supernatural now. Yeah. And then it was just a dream. I totally forgot that she just
I
wakes
forgot
up.
about that too.
And I was like, wow, that made a movie I remember.
worse.
The one good part. Yeah.
I
agree with that.
I was like, wait, why is she waking up in the hospital?
Well, wait. So like, we're going backwards on this episode. I like it. I loved that they did that because I like things that keep nuance. We don't know the answer as to whether he's real or not. What you're describing would be a lot more like we do know the answer, and I think that's less fun.
The way I saw the ending of him jumping out is like, there is a kid who's in the water that could have survived and is an unkillable force, which
Right.
sets up what Jason actually
Right,
is.
but I like
but it's
that-
weird. What's weird is that the cops didn't see the kid. Like,
Right.
How do you miss that?
Right.
On the shore, standing
They didn't
there,
have their glasses
going,
on.
Well,
Wait, what kid? What are you talking about? You didn't
But-
see like the kid that jumped up and
She fell
brought
in.
But
him
the
in?
ending implies we didn't find a kid. Yeah, he drowned 20 years ago. Why would
Right.
they find
But
a
it's
kid?
possible that that didn't happen. If you take away the sequels, it is definitely not clear when
Correct.
that movie came out
Right.
that there was a kid.
Yeah. Let's get
Oh,
into.
I see what
yeah,
you're
let's
possible.
let's get into the sequel. Yeah.
Yeah, my synopsis is really long, so buckle up, boys. My synopsis is we be slashing.
All right. A grieving, cleaving mother and a group of horny teens get campy.
Oh, he doubled it up, Dubs. Nice.
shit.
I like that.
Unintended. I got to read the official synopsis, which, God, please be more riveting than the movie itself, is Crystal Lake's history of murder doesn't deter counselors from setting up a summer camp in the woodsy area. Superstitious locals warn against it, but the fresh-faced young people, Jack, we don't need the whole cast, Alice, Bill, Marcy, and Ned.
We don't need the whole cast. I'll read it, though.
Well, no, they also have the actor's name. Pay little heed to the old timers. Then they find themselves stalked by a brutal killer. As they're slashed, shot, and stabbed, the counselors struggle to stay alive against a merciless opponent. Shot?
Yeah.
Who got shot? There was an arrow.
Arrow. I guess you can get shot with an arrow.
You definitely.
Yeah.
It's the only way to get.
What else? Yeah, what else do you get
killed.
stabbed with an arrow?
Yeah,
Well, you
could.
get
well,
pierced.
actually, you could because it happened in the movie.
Yeah, well, that's true.
All right, we're retarded. This really made me pissed, dude. And I'll tell you why. I want to see the killer, dude. I don't want these POV
come
shots.
on.
I want to know the killer a little bit.
What's hilarious to me about that is if you're gonna do the POV,
Do
right?
it constantly.
No, no.
They sometimes they'll do a POV and then it'll be like behind a tree, and then someone will look at the camera and be like, "Oh, I guess this POV is not from the POV of Mrs. Vor-hee."
I wrote this down though. The POV is this stalking, menacing entity, right? That always catches its prey by surprise, and then at the reveal, you're like, she could have tricked anybody at any time. She literally gets out of the car and is like, "Hey, darling." And the person goes right to them. So why
love
are you
that.
sneaking up on people every other kill
There's no
when they're
logic.
alone?
Well, because sometimes she has a weapon. I thought it was a really cool storytelling device. That it was like you just didn't know. Because it's, I got a lot of firsts that we'll talk about that this movie
It was a whodunit,
interesting.
really.
It was the first POV whodunit. There have been POV killers, but this was the first, the POV was playing with making you not know. And I kept saying, because I know about Jason and I didn't know the twist at the end. And I kept being like, well, I know that the whatever
Wait, you
it
didn't
is.
know what was going to happen?
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
I didn't
No
know what was
wonder
gonna
you
happen.
Probably didn't hate yourself watching
No, I hated how scared I was, and there was some really bad acting and annoying parts about the campiness. But overall, I thought the horror part was really fun and well done. And I thought that I kept being like, hold on a second, why does everyone react to the camera, the killer, briefly with innocence? And I was like, in the first kill when he's little, we're just not gonna have a spoiler room, I realize. In the first kill when he's little, like in 1958. I'm like, oh, it's the kid. That's why. So they think he's a kid. But their reaction was still weird. And then with the twist, you're like, oh, I get why. And I thought that was a really cool way to play it. When the hitchhiker gets in, and it's just like, okay, well, it can't be fucking hockey mask boy everyone's reacting normally to.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be way more hockey in this movie.
So can it be a whodunit if the character is not introduced?
But it
and
is
his
because we
motive-
know about
her
the kid. We know about the kid drowning.
No, do they talk about Jason before she says 20 years ago, boy drowned?
Oh, no. I guess all we
Yeah,
know is
so-
1958 is that a couple gets stabbed.
Two
No,
people
they
get
mentioned
killed.
the driver. Someone mentions someone drowned.
Yeah,
I thought-
yes, they
Yeah,
do
yeah,
at the diner. They do
Oh,
mention it. Yeah.
I thought they were just talking about the killing. But
Nah,
even
you might
then,
have been in the shower for that part.
there was the murders that happened at the camp, shut down or whatever, and they reopened. It's just crazy to me that a whodunit, where you're like, what is it? They reveal the person and their motive at the very end as two things that we would never have been.
But I thought that worked. You thought the first time you saw it, that didn't work? There are definitely things that don't work on this movie, but I thought that they pulled that off.
I can't remember if I knew. I think I knew ahead of time
The
that
twist,
the
yeah.
mother was the killer because I knew that Jason wasn't, quote, in it. But the other, going back to the thing, that idea of formulas, the one thing I was thinking is, wow, they're really subverting expectations here with this frail old lady. A slasher as a concept, you think of these hulking, like a Michael Myers
Right.
as the first, or eventually what Jason becomes. And they're like, no, we're going to flip that on its head. But to your point, I am realizing that really Halloween was the first of the archetype with the 5 main characters, like the sex equals death, like all the cliches. This was the next big one.
Yeah.
Like main.
Yeah, and then this one was the first time that it's at least what I read, the innocent girl lasts out at the end. That's such a normal trope.
So that was another point. If she wasn't the final girl, I wouldn't have even considered her the main character of the movie.
Totally. I will say the last 20 minutes were really good. The first hour and 15 minutes were trash.
Yeah.
And guess what? Even though you know the best part of this movie? It's filmed in New Jersey. Blairstown, New Jersey, which I've been to many a time. It was filmed in Hope, New Jersey.
Town is cursed.
And you see that there was not a cult, but a religious group called the Moravians. And there's a cemetery there called the Moravian Cemetery in Hope, New Jersey. But also, not to mention, that the real life Camp Crystal Lake is actually a Boy Scout camp that's still there to this day.
Really? In Jersey?
Yeah, called Camp No Bibosco.
Oh, I thought it was
located in
called Crystal
Hardwick,
Lake.
New Jersey. And the lake is actually not a lake at all. It's called Sand Pond. Talk about a
Okay,
twist.
so it sounds like it has no relation to any of this at all.
Did they ever mention it being in New Jersey in the movie?
Well, you can actually see if you pay really close and get your detective lens
Like
out.
my house.
You can see where she's walking. Annie, I think her name is, the girl that doesn't make it, the cook. She's walking through the town. You
Who's
can
like
see,
the worst actor.
Yeah, you can see signs says Blair Realty, and the diner says Blairstown Diner.
Plug for New Jersey though was connection here is when we camped. This group was at Vor-hee's
Yeah,
National
that's
Park.
true.
State Park,
Named
yeah.
after-
named
go
after
watch
Jason.
Our hilarious
Son named
other
after him.
Yeah, Blair Witch
Halloween-
Halloween special out now. Actually, so real quick on that other first, we're knocking this all out. This was the first to what I read, the first summer camp killer,
What year was
and that became such a thing.
What year was
first summer
Sleepaway
camp?
Camp?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like we have to put our shoes back into a teenager from 1980.
Yes, exactly.
And,
That's why
be
this
like,
was good.
This movie, I think it was filmed for like $550,000. It made like 50 million worldwide. And yeah, I think it just was what Dubs likes about, not to speak for Dubs, but the campiness of
you're
like
right. Yeah.
the screams. Like this movie would be like Scream to our generation, like the sort of warm blanket, kitschy, campy,
Right.
funny, don't take itself too seriously.
I mean, those opening
completely
credits.
illogical plot line.
Yeah.
The fact that a 50-something-year-old woman can throw a grown adult through a window, or
but also gets her like her ass beat sort of at the end.
you get to, As soon as you see the old woman, she just all of a sudden loses all of her supernatural strength and speed. But we overlook those things just because it's a fun time at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Wait, so I have a question. Scream is written by one of the most famous horror directors ever as a commentary on these kitsch, campy horror movies. So that's more like meta,
Okay,
self-aware.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
No,
Maybe
this is
Scream
like-
wasn't a good example.
I
don't know.
don't-
This is
do
the
you
first,
think it
it's one of the
was-
first mainstream camps because that's the thing
Yeah.
is there was Grindhouse before this, obviously, but this was like we're gonna get gory, we're gonna get campy, but in a
It's at a
mainstream
camp.
way.
Yeah,
I guess my
that's where-
question was,
Yeah.
do you think it was self-aware? Obviously
No,
not
because
to the
it
level.
created
I agree.
the
I-
formula. Yeah,
I think it was a little bit though, because those fucking opening credits were like, I think it was playing with some Grindhouse old silly shit. Like that was insane, dude. There was like, I know it was a different era, but they were like some of the effects it did at
Well,
the beginning were.
But you are
I don't
right.
think they realized they struck gold. Like I think they set out to make a movie that they were like, oh, this might do well, and then it was just like became an American classic.
Well, I think it's
and
and
it
it's
was
also
untapped.
like it sounds like also what they did was they took Halloween and said,
2
what if we
years
took
after.
out all right, exactly, pretty close after. And they're like, what if we took out all of the like movie and just made it like more death, and added the POV part, and like that they hit. You're right.
They
though.
probably
struck gold.
marketed-
They were like, holy shit, people are idiots.
They probably marketed it too. Like, if I had to guess, if I was in charge of it, would have been like the next big play. But you're totally right about the things like that taste that I have for like, I do love campy shit, but mostly when I think it knows it's campy, which I don't necessarily. But I will say, my favorite part of this movie is probably the worst part of the entire movie, which is just the first 10 minutes. Not because it's good, but because it reminds me of like, this is absurd. This is literally like when you think of, let's watch a scary movie and plug a VHS into, an old TV and in the countryside.
Right.
This is the movie you choose to watch.
What is interesting about this is also that, I mean, clearly, again, they struck gold and they didn't quite know, but they also sort of did. So this is the first really gory. All right, this is a fun quiz one. Like bloody mainstream release. Halloween was not very bloody. As you guys talked about on a very early episode, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not very bloody, actually, overall. This was bloody. Not compared to modern, but for the time, and it was a mainstream, huge studio release. That sort of is a big deal. What were the only other movies before this that sort of had mainstream appeal that were this bloody?
Dawn of the Dead.
Damn, nailed it.
And Alien
It's the
was
same-
also
it's the s-
2 years sooner, but Dawn of the Dead is even more.
But I don't
over
think
the
Alien
top.
is
Do you know the-
gross, but it's
the
not much
makeup
blood.
art-
Something busting out of its
But
chest.
blood. I'm talking
and
blood,
then-
baby.
And
They
you-
care
like-
about that for ratings and shit.
Fudge fact, dude. Tom Savini was the makeup director on Dawn of the Dead. Worked on this movie.
But
Wow.
I was actually gonna bring this. So blood, you mean just like sheer volume of like?
Yeah, this was one of the first ones.
What about Carrie?
It's true. They dump a lot of that.
Yeah. But even a lot of the murders, you only see the aftermath. You don't see the violent incident.
But I think they have
Except
a few
for
that
Kevin's-
the Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon one
that was real game changing. Like I think again, we're so
Desensitized.
Yeah,
think
we're
the
so
alien
desensitized.
chest bursting is pretty gnarly. No?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like not apples to apples because
Yeah.
it's sci-fi
It's
horror.
not apples to
But I
apples.
do think
You
it.
just accept my point.
No. But I'm trying to think of others that were.
No,
also,
I agree. Alien was game changing too. But I'm saying this was that scene. I bet if you really wanted to identify like a real like change in how you show campy gore, like
Dude,
I think that was a huge one.
Dawn
And in
of
the
the
mainstream,
Dead-
because again, there were great grindhouse movies in the 70s, 60s, and
Dawn
shit.
of the Dead when they pull that guy apart.
Yes,
in
right.
that was.
And you see the little
insane.
gutties.
Abby, you did actually say you like hated that you were scared, so that's a perfect segue that I recreated right now. Back to our segment that I'll let you introduce, Abby.
Yeah, so this is Baby in the Corner. Let's hear that theme song, Brendan.
Nobody puts baby in the corner, but we just put him in the corner. Nobody puts baby in the corner, but he's in that corner right now.
All right, so I'm the baby, and I'm in the corner, and I was in the corner last night, curled up with my little cat Beef, and I was being scared. And yeah, honestly, we talked a lot about it. When it started, I was like, oh God, this acting's so bad. I hate that. Luckily, the acting got a little better. The movie didn't, like Brendan said, didn't really make sense, didn't really have much plot. You didn't really get to like any of the characters. Kevin Bacon was hot, sure. But the tension never, there was so much just pure darkness. There was so much killing. There was several jump scares that got me really towards the end extreme. And everything was on the nose. The score was on the nose. The acting was on the nose. The writing was on the nose. No place for nuance. And yet it fucking worked. I was scared throughout the whole thing. It was a short king flick. We love these at 2 Men and a Baby, hour and a half. I think maybe 95 minutes. And yet it felt long to me, but not in a complaining way.
so
I know
long,
you guys are complaining. I was not complaining. I was just like, it felt long because I was scared. I was really, first time I've ever seen it. I didn't know the twist. Like I really am good at staying ignorant for my whole life of people talking about this and me pretending. I'll tell real quick the story. I told this on the first episode. I remember seeing Freddy versus Jason in theaters with a bunch of people, with Will in like middle school, elementary school maybe. And that was one of the original hat brim movies where I was trying to look cool. I had my fitted Yankees cap when I was in my hood era and, sitting next to a girl, and I just tilted it right here and watched the little new era shiny symbol on the front of the hat for the entire movie because I was terrified.
That's an
And-
HBO, dude.
Yeah.
Happer original.
Happening original. I do
Never
want to
seen
watch the second one just to see what happens, but yeah, overall I was scared. I gave this one an 8.1, which is like
On the Binky.
high on the
Damn.
binky because that's how I felt. The slashers really
We're
fuck with
fully
me.
binked up.
I
dude.
was binked up out the wazoo.
That's crazy, man.
That you would make
Yeah,
it
Black
up.
Christmas. We haven't done that for the. I watched that once, and that was one of the scariest
Slashers
movies
really
I've
do
ever
it
seen.
for you,
They
dude.
really, because the darkness and the quietness, and there was 2 jump scares towards the end that were up there, and that last jump scare is one of the best I've ever seen. Not knowing it was coming, I did with the classic, highest level of scare, which I've learned from doing this podcast, is the Hank Hill, which is when noise that is not controlled in any part of the brain just comes out and I go, ooh. And I did that like fucking terrified. I thought the movie was over. I thought I could finally let my shoulders down.
Yeah.
And I flipped.
Finally,
I
let
did-
my hat down.
Yeah.
I did.
Flipped the hat up.
They did a really good job on that last one. Even watching it, knowing it was coming, I was like, "How are?" Because when you know a jump scare, a famous one especially, it's like, what did they do?
Right.
And they really played the right type of music for the right type of time. Like you said,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's it. It wasn't too long that you're like, oh, the beat of end credits is coming, and it's like a bait and switch. It wasn't
Yep.
like that. It was very good.
They lured you along. It was also funny because it's like the killer's fucking beatboxing right before he kills everybody. You'd think that would make it a little less scary. There are just so many things that should make it less scary
Did you
because
have
I'm
that
so aware.
joke written beforehand? Yes, you did, dude.
That scene wasn't even supposed to be in the movie. It wasn't even in the original script.
What scene? The last one?
The last one where Jason jumps out.
I
Tom
would like to
Savini,
hear
the makeup
about it.
director from Evil Dead, he included that in because he just saw the movie Carrie, and it's like Carrie
I haven't
basically
seen Carrie.
established
No
the final scare
I thought
trope.
this was the first movie to do that.
And he was like, we got to put something in there. We should have Jason jump out.
I bet you when it was written, and I'd love if not somebody knows, that there was no intention of sequel and franchising, and it capitalized probably from, being
so
the first
in fact,
of the slot, and they were like, well, we have to make another one.
we have to.
And then, I mean, that last shot, if it's not there, what do you do?
so they wanted
let's hear
to.
it, yeah.
They wanted to make instead of because they came out with a sequel like less than a year after the release of
Because they
of this
clearly
movie.
knew they didn't want to do it because
Right.
that last
well,
scene.
the commercial success obviously was like we have to continue this in some way, but people love
maybe.
this idea. But they wanted initially they were like we should make like an anthology about Friday the 13th and have just different vignettes.
Totally. That's
of
that
like
would've been-
surrounding the
anything
date
would've been
Friday the
better.
13th. So like not even completely like moving on from Jason Voorhees and all that
Right,
stuff.
like Halloween.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
just a bunch of self-contained stories that
But
take place.
self-contained, like vignettes. So now's the perfect time to explain the history of Friday the 13th. Buckle in. I'm gonna go around the table. Do you guys know what makes Friday the 13th important?
Oh, like the date.
Yeah.
Because it was already lore before the movie, obviously, right?
Yeah.
Well, 13's an unlucky number. I don't know the origin of that either.
Wow, so I'm gonna get this guy a freaking lollipop.
Can you? I'd love a lollipop, man.
So the roots include. There's a couple different potential origins for this.
Questlove, Black Thought,
So it's the Last Supper. You ever heard of this?
Jesus.
13 people present. And the crucifixion, guess what day it was on? Friday. Norse mythology, Loki, 13th guest.
Tom Middleton.
I don't know why it's bad, why Loki's bad, but I bet one
Well,
of
he
you,
was-
you Thor nerds
Dude,
out
honestly,
there
he's
are
low-key
He's-
chill.
Actually,
He's the god
Loki's-
of mischief, and he was a bad dude mostly. If there's more, I want to know. But also, did you notice it was June 13th, which is 1 week after our collective birthday? The movie
What
starts
was-
with Friday, June 13th, which is
That would actually be.
Yeah, true.
7 days after our June 6th birthday. But am I crazy? Or
Geminis.
did most of this movie, like, I was like, there's no way, because it's like Friday the 13th, and you see a character hitchhiking to get to the camp that,
Oh, 24 hours, by the way. It all happened in 24 hours.
okay,
That was
it
pretty cool.
feels like it doesn't just because they put the time and stuff for a character that never even gets to the camp, right? I'm just saying it's crazy to be like, today's date is this, and introduce a character and then them not be in the movie, and the movie's titled about this day that then everything else happens somewhere else
No,
after
it
that.
doesn't. What are you talking about? She gets in a car. It says it's the beginning of Friday the 13th. Let's say 3 p.m. She gets to the diner. She gets to the camp. She's murdered by 5. Then we cut to the camp. It's 5 p.m. there. They're building the camp. They all get murdered by midnight. It's just a movie that takes place in order.
You meet the character, and then it's like, it's Friday, June 13th, and then we follow her to never make it to
Well, yeah,
the
they
location.
did the classic horror movie thing where you start with the character and then kill him.
And then the fact that there's like a scene at a diner, I was like, is it still Friday anymore? And I
Yes,
guess
what it's so clearly.
You know what's really
Friday.
crazy? All the events only happen within 90 minutes, too.
95
95 minutes.
with the credits. Okay,
Yeah, dude,
do you have any more facts about the Norse?
The Knights
fucking
Templar
god?
was arrested by Philip the Fourth or something like that. Who cares?
Okay.
Dude?
Well, if you are blown away by all that lore and you also haven't seen the movie and you're also still listening for some reason, I want to give my quick summary of what happens in this movie because, it's only 46 years ago and you guys might have forgot. So this movie starts with some young camp counselors and they're fooling around. And then they get slashed, and then it's a POV of a killer, and then it's 20 years later, and then they say the camp is cursed, and now there's new counselors, and they get slashed POV style. Kevin Bacon's hot. He gets twisted through his chest by a killer, then more killing, then we realize the killer's a woman. Oh, shit, that's a twist. Now all of a sudden, everything's okay. Nope, twist, very end, jump scare. There's a baby that was drowned earlier, the son of the killer mom, and he's Jason, and that's the end of the movie, except maybe not, because she might have imagined it. Okay.
He wasn't drowned. He drowned swimming, and the lifeguards were
Shoot!
were sexing. We're doing sexy
Blew
things.
it. Okay.
it was through his neck, wasn't it?
I said chest.
Yeah.
Different
It is.
part of the body, but
Totally
we're close.
different.
You're close.
This movie, we're covering it because Friday the 13th, the day, is happening. But mostly if we were ever going to choose to watch one of these movies, I would never have wanted to watch this one. It's just, it has to be discussed in some capacity, but more so in the bigger picture of the franchise. Now, it's just crazy to me that this is what created an icon that is not even in the movie. That's one. Two, that they made so fucking many that just followed their own formula over and over. But the only redeeming thing about this film, I feel like, is, I don't know how to explain this. I would have rather we watch one of the just fully horribly bad ones that wasn't trying to do something new. You know what I mean? Because then you can at least kind of like turn your brain
I
off.
liked it.
This movie,
Yeah.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I guess maybe
All right.
seeing the first time I probably liked it more.
I like the last 20 minutes. Like when
Yeah,
Pamela
that's-
Voorhees going around and she's like, "Kill him, mommy." I was
Kill
like,
him.
"Ooh, that
That
gave
was
me
great.
goosebumps."
I know.
That was scary. I
And
was
the final
scared.
jump scared.
I was for real scared.
I think also the whodunit element will drag your attention along
Yes,
a lot
exactly.
better when you
100%.
don't. Yeah. Whereas we're watching, thinking about what is the next shittiest.
Well, for summary,
thing.
it's like don't watch this twice. Watch
Yeah,
it once.
yeah,
There's the
yeah.
answer.
But good movies get better over time.
Yeah.
Some, yeah. Anyway, just notable. Jason Voorhees, the iconic hockey mask machete wielding killer, does not even emerge truly until Friday the 13th Part 3. It becomes clear that it's about just making a new one, you know, every
Right.
other year or
Right.
whatever, kind of like Saw had become. And none are good, right? I think Jason Goes to Hell, among fans of the franchise who really love these movies, a lot of people would consider as the best. 3, I thought was cool because that's when he gets his mask and he becomes a thing. But there's also...
And they're like rapid fire, right? They're like every year. Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
like
don't-
80, 81, 82, 84, 85, 86, 88. Holy shit.
Yeah. But there's like 3 that stand out to me. One is Jason, I don't know what number, goes to Manhattan.
Yeah, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Takes Manhattan.
That's number 8, and that's 1989.
I saw part of it. The hilarious thing
stupid.
about the movie Jason Goes to Manhattan or Takes Manhattan is that almost none of it takes place outside of a boat. He's just on a boat.
Central Park?
So you're thinking,
yeah, you know
ooh,
what Manhattan's known
a
for.
man, you know, he's finally out of the fucking camp in the woods. He's taking over a city. No, he's just on a boat in the whole movie.
That's
I think
so
there's like
funny.
one scene in the city of Manhattan. The other is Jason X, which if I could recommend any, it would be that one because of the just sheer ridiculousness, and it got panned for what would seem like obvious reasons, but if you go out and rewatch it now, and I'm legitimately saying you should, especially you, Abby, it is so aware of how dumb it is, and it's hilarious. Every kill is like a gag. Like I actually find it wildly entertaining.
So I don't know if you realize this. So 8 was Manhattan. Then number 9 comes out in 93 called Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. We love to call it the final, the Black Album. So there's 8 years of nothing. And then they came back after the Final Friday with Jason X where he goes to space. I mean, that's like the right way to do it.
But I almost feel like if it came out today, it would have gotten excellent reviews. It's almost like they were like, we gotta fucking just go all in with how stupid and terrible this franchise has been and dial it up to 20 in a way that you can't actually be like this stupid.
TGIF Friday should do a crossover.
Oh my
movie,
God, they should.
Like where it takes place in a TGIF.
Dude, Jason gets like an upgrade. He gets like a fucking metal suit and mask and like a super machete. There's a cyborg that he fights.
I hate this.
It's
that is-
so
Like
ridiculous.
I don't like ridiculous like slash. I don't even
No,
really like slashers that much.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is really the only slasher I
Right.
like. But anyway,
And you have not seen Halloween, which is criminal, and we need to
Have
fix
I?
gotta
that.
see that.
yeah, I don't
It's
think
so
I have.
good.
We got to do it for
Halloween's
Halloween.
so good.
Halloween special coming up.
Yeah.
in 10
And then the
months.
last one, of course, is Friday versus Jason that I like, just because, again, I
The
think
Hat Brim original, 2003. So we were 13. We saw that in theaters.
I actually think it's better than people give it credit for, but also it does a great job of kind of like taking all the like Spark Note versions of the two franchises, condensing them and just telling their story again in singularity for a new audience, a new generation, and then making them fight. And that's
that's fun.
Wait, real quick, I had a question. Of the big three, and I can't really speak on this because I'm not a huge slasher guy.
Yeah.
But Jason, Freddy, or Michael Myers, how do we rank them?
Who would you fuck?
How
Oh,
we
Mary
rank 'em?
kill, fuck, Mary kill.
No, I just think of
Fuck, Mary kill, Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers.
Well, Jason's a little
I'm
boy.
fucking Freddy. I'm fucking Freddy because he's freaky as hell, dude. He's a
I want you to rank them in any way you want to rank them.
Well, I'm saying that I want to fuck Freddy. Them fingies, and also he calls everybody a bitch, and sometimes I want to be a little
I've never
bit
seen
of a sub.
Never seen it.
So definitely fuck Freddy because he's freaky. I'd kill Jason. He's just sucks, and I would marry Michael because he's just kind of there, and he loves his sister, I think, and I don't know. It's a good quality.
I feel like Jason. We're talking about adult Jason, to be clear. I think that I would marry Michael Myers, and I think that I would kill Freddy, and I think I'd fuck Jason. Then
Why would you fight? Well, Jason is.
he's a big boy. Well, so is
He's
Michael
a small
Myers.
boy in the first one.
Well, not that one. I
He's
said
also
not that
he's
one.
also well. I was gonna say
Yeah,
famous
that's
for
different.
being ugly, and literally Freddy's like burned entire face. But Jason's it became like a thing when his mask would come off. Like people wanted his mask to come off in the movie because he wanted to see this vile. I literally can't remember. What was that movie that we watched that was the POV slasher?
Oh, it was
In a Violent Nature.
Violent
I
Nature.
was going to
That
say,
was- that was
I had
good.
a whole new perspective on that
Yeah, way
because
better.
of
Watching
this.
it?
Way better.
Because, during it, I didn't get it. Now I get it.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking about that while watching this movie, and I was like, "Wow, In a Violent Nature is so much better than this." But obviously, it's all
it's about
Because
the-
it's the- right, it's
it's
because
the
of it.
homage.
But that's why my point was that's why they made him so ugly and kind of like they didn't need to make Jason clearly deformed and
Right.
like special needs or whatever. The one thing I wanted to say about the big three is that watching this back, what made me hate it even more is like the other two, they also capitalized on the slasher phenomenon with a gazillion sequels. But the first Halloween and the first Nightmare on Elm Street are incredible horror movies.
Nightmares? Incredible?
Yeah,
Johnny
it's
Depp.
Wes
Really?
Craven. It is a
I'm scared. We should watch
horrifying.
it.
I hear
probably
that's
do
like I hear that of the three. I think they say that's a close contender for being better than like Halloween. And
Wow.
then Jason's clearly the third.
They're
Friday-
different
Friday-
enough that like I might like A Nightmare on Elm Street better. I think Halloween is a better film. But either way, the point is that Friday the 13th is shit ass.
Yeah, it's
compared.
bad. So let's. That being said, should we get into our scores and are we gonna
Let's do
stamps of approval and
What's our next on the It's in a Scary?
Isn't it crazy though that the iconic killer of the big three for this one didn't even come out?
So the Hockey Mask is 3. That's amazing.
And Pamela Voorhees, Betsy Palmer, she said when she read the script, she said this movie's a piece of shit.
Oh, and she's a wonderful
Isn't it because we
actress.
keep calling her an old lady? She's like 12 years older than us.
Wow.
So
She's like 50, not 14.
spoiler room, this all been molded together. We covered everything that we wanted to. I mean, is there any kind of like lingering slasher stashers we want to talk to?
Medicare or
All right.
Rotten Tomato, whatever.
Well, it's Medicare at best. So before we get into our own critic predictions, we like to collect and share some of the funniest bad audience reviews that we can find.
And bam, 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 bam. Guess what? Abby's taking over this segment because he likes it the most.
Boom.
And Will did great to find the original one. And then really the whole audience has been talking about how much he's been slacking on him. So, no, I'm joking. But I took it down this time. And I found some absolute gems in this. Okay. So the first review I found is by Nicholas T. And he simply wrote, "Terrible headache, sad face." And then gave it 2 stars. Which is...
2 is higher than, yeah.
2 is higher. Also... does he just have a headache? Is that why he disliked the movie, or did the movie give him a headache? Not clear. That's Nicholas T. Then we've got Alex. Alex wrote, this is the whole review. Old woman goes insane and kills innocent kids who did absolutely nothing wrong after her son dies because some camp counselors decided that sex was more important than a kid's life because somehow that's some random kid's fault. That's a long sentence. Period. 10 out of 10 would watch again. 5 stars. So that's pretty good.
Wait, so it's a positive review.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very strange.
Just explains the plot and then says, I just love it. In the longest run on. This one, I don't think this person saw this movie, but Pamela gave this movie 5 stars and wrote, Pamela Vor-hee's massive jiggling boobies in 3D was hashtag exhilarating. Also loved seeing Kevin's Baconator. This movie was not in 3D, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if they
someone showed it in. Okay,
but there also may be one of the.
I think one of them is,
like
but definitely not one with Kevin Bacon in it because he dies in this one.
Yeah, that's true.
And we did not see Kevin's Baconator. I would have fucking known if they hung down there. Okay, then this one I just thought was funny because what we've been talking about how important this movie was in building these cliches. This formula has become too predictable. You can practically guess the order of the events. The group of friends arrives at the location, they're blissfully unaware of the danger lurking, and they get killed. It's like, yeah, dude, that's because they are also inventing it.
Yeah.
They didn't even get into any of the intricacies. That's just unsuspecting cast appears.
Unlike those movies where you kill suspecting cast.
No, I mean, there's so much to the formula in this that we didn't even talk about. Like the gang of 5, the goofer, the 2 couples, the one that's virginal, the one that's not. You know, it's like there's. But what is bizarre is that there is no main character to this movie. And the final girl is only the final girl because she is
the final girl.
Yeah. Otherwise.
No, and the final guy literally might have the least lines in the whole movie, and then he's the last one alive. It's really
the
weird.
actual goofer, whatever you want to. Usually, it's like a
goof.
stoner. Yeah, he gets killed sooner than.
And he was the least fun. I wanted him to die much bigger.
Well,
way.
he was also
so annoying.
some racist.
I wanted all these people to die.
I know,
dude.
which they did. So there you go. Except for the last one. This one was funny. It first just said, all caps, Jason Voorhees should have been the killer. Okay.
I agree.
If he wasn't dead, dude.
That's smart. I agree.
But then the full one is 0.5 stars. Jason Voorhees should have been the killer with his hockey mask to be more of a threat in this movie.
Yes. Now we're talking.
Marcy thinks about. Wait. Also, listen how much he analyzed it. And just run-on sentences. Marcy thinks about Ned. He has a crush on her, but she is Jack's girlfriend, so she tries Brenda, but she seems to be interested in Alice. She's interested in Bill. Chris is interested in Alice, and that makes her uncomfortable too. Annie should have gone out more and interacted with the others, but she did have an interaction with the truck driver. For me, I would have had Ned take Marcy. Since before her death, she hears noises and names Ned, she decides to go where the noise is coming from in the white panties, hoping it's him.
What?
That person is the next serial killer. What the fuck was that review?
It's like a TikTok review.
That's the person who wrote the synopsis that we used.
So those are the Medicare best. Now it's time for us to get to Rotten Tomatoes, where we estimate the Rotten Tomato meter. Brendan, can we hear that theme song?
Probably.
You are about to find out if we really know what we're talking about. Are we frauds or are we connoisseurs? Here come our Rotten Tomato scores.
All right. Now, Abby took over Medicare at Best because this week I don't know the score, and I'm very excited because I get to guess. And I never get to guess.
So I'll tell you guys what happened. I stayed away from the scores the whole time till I pulled the final. When Will asked me who directed it, I scrolled up too fast. I saw the critics, so I know the critic. I do not know the audience, so all 3 of us will go in blind there. But why don't you guys start by guessing the critic?
I have no idea. 61. I'm going to guess.
57.
57. So as I recall, the critic is, you guys are both close. Brennan wins. The critic is 69. Nice. Now I'm going to double check that in a second, but we're going to start by guessing the audience, and we all don't know. So I'm going to say the audience, I think that's pretty low for the critics and also accurate. Like, it's not that great a movie. I think the audience got to be a little higher. No, maybe not, because people probably went from the other Friday the 13th and came back and were like, what the fuck? There's no hockey match.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. Okay, I'm going to guess. Ooh, this could go any which fucking
Wait, you don't know
way.
it?
I don't know the
okay.
audience.
Definitely,
Okay,
that's not-
I'm going to guess. I'm going to go up. I'm going to go with my gut. I think it could be really low, too, but I'm going to guess 70. If it was 69 for critics. No, I'm going to guess same. I'm going to guess 69 again.
So I had 71 and I just changed it to 64 because I do think that you're right that it's going to be a lot of angry people like, why is this a cult
Why isn't it?
classic?
Right,
blah,
right.
blah, blah. Or, the people who got headaches.
Would you say 70, Abby?
I said 69 to
Would you
match
say,
the critic.
Dubs?
64 is my revised answer.
I'm going to say 71. No, I'm going to say 73.
Okay, he went further from the truth. He strayed further from the light of God. The answer is 69 critics, 60 audience. So, yeah, we were right that
It
people
went
were
lower.
critical.
Yeah, I had it
Yeah.
71 first.
Yeah.
I was like, it's got. I thought the critics.
I never
were
know
gonna
with
be
critics
lower.
because
Yeah,
it's
you
like
do never know.
I wonder
Say critics
because
are- I mean,
I don't
we're
know if
fans,
you
I
read through any of the critic blurbs. What's interesting
Absolutely
about
not.
the older ones is looking at the dates. Because they're like there's the reviews from when it came
Right,
out, and then
right.
the reviews way after.
Okay, now what are our scores? That's the real question. That's what people are really tuned in for right here. What do we think? What do we think? Who wants to go first?
I gave this pupper 4.5 old lady smacks. Slaps. Slaps or smacks? Slaps.
I don't
Because this
know.
movie did not slap except for
No,
her at
you
the
didn't
end.
like it, and that's
I
fair. I
was-
like that you're honest to yourself. It is crazy that, like, because you knew the twist, and that that seems really low to me.
I 100% enjoyed this movie way more the first time I saw it, a little less the second, and this is probably the third time
Yeah,
I've seen it.
yeah.
But I was just angry about how dumb it is that this is even
Yeah.
put into the same category.
Yeah, no,
But
that's fair.
it's 100%. It's just they wrote a very copyable formula that everybody else ended up doing better. Because I'm thinking about Nightmare on Elm Street. It follows the 5, the Final Girl, and Halloween, of course. They're just
right.
so much better.
Brendan.
I think that the last 20 minutes of the movie bumped it up for me a little bit. 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
6.5
That's probably
what?
what
6.5. Blast Town Diners. And 6.5. Movie's trash. Don't care if you liked it. Don't care if you go, oh my God, it's the greatest movie of all time. Slasher. Oh my God, the blood, the axe in the face, the
I mean,
air to the thing, Kevin Bacon. Holy shit.
That's
it's
the thing.
camp.
That's the thing.
It
To be
started
fair,
it all. It started it all. I can't believe it started it all. It's so
to be fair to
important.
your guys' criticisms, the only thing you can say is it started all. Like no one could say this is
Yeah.
their favorite movie. Maybe nostalgia. Maybe they got laid the first time that they saw this.
Yeah.
Like this is not
Yeah,
no one's favorite
if I was
movie.
born,
It's-
if I was a 13-year-old kid in 1980 or 1979,
Yeah.
I would probably love this movie. But it's
Yeah.
left a lot to be desired. Maybe I'm just desensitized and I'm a little spoiled.
No,
I'm a little freaking spoiled brat.
Yeah, you're a little spoiled brat, dude.
We should have used Friday the 13th as a reason to watch Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street.
No, I'm glad
Because-
we did this.
We're gonna do Halloween for the Halloween special coming up.
Yeah, calling it now. We'll start
9
recording
months.
tomorrow, so it'll take us that long. I gave this movie a 6.9. Nice. Actually, whoa, 69 from the critics. I'm pretty much the critic. I gave it 6.9. Crazy old Ralph's with the hat riding that bike. I love that scene. If you guys can rewatch
The
that scene.
Prophet of Doom, he was called. That was another trope
that
that
was
they created
really-
because that wasn't in Halloween.
Oh, really? But that was
Yeah,
also
there's-
so bad. His character was so bad.
Well, not actually. I think Texas Chainsaw was before. Wait, Texas Chainsaw
was
is a
before this.
slasher with
No,
the 5.
but it's not bloody. That's the point.
No,
and
no.
this was not 5. That was the thing. This took it all to another
6,
level.
yeah.
This was like, we're just going to kill. This was more than 6, dude. They killed so many people in this.
No, but it's main.
Right, but there are no, as you point out, there's like
2
barely any
couples.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming.
Thank
This
you
was
guys so
so
much. This
fun.
has actually been
And
one
I
of our
actually
favorite
love you
times.
so much. And
And guess what we're doing next time?
we don't know.
I
Bye.
don't know. Peace.
2 men and a baby. Oh yeah.